Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Femi Shabazz, and this is the Building a Strong Medical School Application series. This is going to be part one of a five-part series in which I talk about different things to get the strongest application to medical school that you can have. This video is really geared towards pre-med students, honestly, whether you're in undergrad, college, high school, or honestly, you graduated undergrad, but you want to go back to school and are thinking of pursuing a career in medicine. Um, this podcast is for you guys. The first thing I want to talk about, in this series at least, will be the importance of grades and GPA. So, like, obviously, grades are important, right? The higher, generally speaking, the higher your grades are, the higher the chance of you getting accepted, right? So, the thing I want to emphasize, I suppose, is like, even just as important as it is for you to get high grades is the way you think about getting those high grades. I actually honestly felt like had I thought about things differently in my career, and by the way, I graduated medical school, I want to say back in 2022. So honestly, not that long ago, but I have a few years skin in the game. So one of the hardest parts about me was when I was a pre-med student was honestly the way I thought about getting the grades that I needed. Obviously, aim for an A. You know, no one will choose a C or a D versus an A, but the mindset that goes behind thinking about it. So if you think when you're applying to medical school, right? Actually, let's give an analogy first. Say you were trying to go to a club, right? You pay entry at the door, right? You pay what, $20, $30. It's probably like $50, $60 actually, and depending on where you are in this country. But the point is, you pay money to get into the club, right? So think about it as medical school is the club, and the money, the currency that you're using to get into medical school is your grades, aka your GPA, right? So think about it that way. I want to become a doctor, right? I need to get a certain GPA or certain grades in order to get in. The only difference is you can get all these grades you want, but still not even get accepted. But the higher the grades you have, the more likely the chance is for you getting an acceptance, right? And so the way I want you to think about these grades is I need to do what I got to do in order to get this grade to give me the highest chance of getting accepted. So when you're taking, let's say you're taking a bio course, for instance, right? Obviously, get an A. When you're taking a chemistry course, get the A. Physics course, get the A. Biochemistry, always try to get the A. But sometimes don't get bottled down in thinking like, okay, this class is going to be hard, right? Don't think, okay, this class is hard. I have to master this. I have to master this. No, 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 no. Your mindset isn't necessarily to master this material that you don't already like, because most people probably don't like chemistry or physics. Don't have to master it that you don't have to master a subject that you don't like. You need to know enough, right, to understand the questions that are going to be asked on the test, not only just the local test, but the MCAT, and commit those to memory and clinical understanding, right? Anything past that is far gone past your scope. You don't need to do that. So a lot of people say, I can't do medicine because I suck at physics, or I can't do medicine because I suck at organic chemistry. Guess what? I sucked at organic chemistry and I sucked at physics, but I told myself that by acing these courses, just grinding in the dirt to memorize or to understand the concepts of these courses can get me an opportunity to go to medical school. So a lot of people looked at physics and chemistry as, okay, if I study this now to become a doctor, I'm going to be studying this every single day for the rest of my life. That is not the case, and that's the point I'm trying to make. It's not the case whatsoever, right? I studied that course, took maybe 2 semesters of physics, so a total of a year. I'm telling you now, I have not looked at any of those physical equation sheets since then, right? Medical school isn't about physics. Does some physics apply to medical school? I guess, but not really like a bunch of mathematical equations that were the bulk of the difficulties in undergrad physics. No. So my mindset was, I'm doing physics now. It's only for 1 year, 2 semesters. So a total of 2 semesters for this physics class. And I'm practically done with it. I don't have to worry about it anymore, yeah? So that helped me get better at, studying for the exams. Because I'm like, okay, this sucks, studying, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? It's only temporary. And that's the mindset you need to have with a lot of these courses. When you take organic chemistry, your mindset, it is temporarily. I need to study hard. I need to struggle and focus on this course, not for the rest of my life, but just for this period that I'm taking these courses. That's how you apply it to all these additional courses that you honestly probably won't see again in medical school directly, at least. The courses that I feel like you should focus on are those that you're going to actually see in medical school. This is more of the anatomy, the physiology. If you have to take pathophysiology, sure, take that as well. But remember, these courses not even required to take before medical school. It's just these hard, complicated courses. The thing I hate the most, like seriously burns me with passion, is when people love medicine, right? They want to be a doctor, they want to be a physician practicing in this country, but they say I can't do it because I hate organic chemistry or I hate physics, and I can't imagine myself taking that class. It's like you can take it temporarily in life. It's not always constantly doing it. Someone the other day asked me, how do you deal with all the chemistry? I said, what chemistry, man? There's not much chemistry in medical school that I'm applying directly, you know? I'm thinking of the overall concept, but I'm not actually doing like, looking at the periodic table of elements. I haven't seen that in like 4 or 5 years now. 5, 6. Actually, no, scratch that. I've not seen the periodic table where I'm studying it actively in almost 8 or 9 years now. It's been so long since I've looked at it. And so you have to realize that it's not that big. It's not something that we're constantly seeing. Your mindset is every class you take, it's a stepping stone to get your foot into the door, the foot into the club, the foot into the medical school of your choice, right? If you just change that mindset, so sometimes it's, obviously, like we said, get the highest grade possible. It's easy to get the highest grade possible. Well, not easy, but it's easy to think that's the only thing you need to do. But train your mind to realizing that some of these struggle courses, these difficult courses that weed out many other students, it's temporary and you don't need to harp on it. Just give yourself the sacrifice of those 2 months. Of those 2 semesters, and you're straight. When it comes to your grades and GPAs, there's 2 different ways to tackle it, right? 2 different ways to tackle it. You can do a science major, or you can choose a non-science major. And obviously there's benefits to both of them. What I would tell you is that if you're choosing a science major, you're going to take, let's say a science major has about, 15 courses you need to take in a semester. 8 of those courses, sorry, what am I talking about? Scratch it. Let's do it this way. Say in this analogy, a science major needs to take a total of, 20 classes to graduate. Who knows? You're taking 20 classes to graduate, right? 8 of those courses, right, are going to make up your science GPA. That's what you need for medical school. Medical school requires you to take at least 8 courses that are mandatory for you to go into the school, right? If you are a science major, you're going to take, instead of just 8 science courses, you're going to probably take about 20 science courses, maybe even more, maybe a little bit less, depending on your school. But the point is you have more classes that are going to make up your science GPA. So when medical school says, okay, what's the student's science GPA? They're going to look at all the science courses you've taken and get an average score and make that your GPA, and that's going to be a science GPA, right? So the benefit of this is that those 8 core courses that medical school is looking at are probably going to be the most difficult ones you have. Maybe maybe not depending on the person, but generally speaking, those 8 courses required for medical school are the hardest ones, right? The other 12 science courses that you take are still science courses, but they might actually be easier or at least more relatable, so it's better for you to understand. So now here you are, if you do score like right around here for your required science courses, but then your other science courses are right here, your science GPA leans a little bit higher up. So you tend to do better because you've had more exposure to science courses. And typically with a lot of science majors, the extra courses that you take, they help support those 8 core courses that you need. So it's like these courses that are not required helping me understand these courses that are required and helping me get a higher GPA. So it's a win-win benefit, right? So now the question is, why on earth would anyone want to do a non-science major, right? So here's the caveat. If you are taking a non-science major, right, you still have to take those 8 core courses for medical school. You can't get around that, right? But the other 12 courses that you need for that major, they're non-science. So your science GPA only consists of those 8 core courses. What happened about these other 12? Generally speaking, what people tell me, because I did a science major, I was a biology major, but what my friends who graduated with me who did non-science majors, what they said was, those 12 additional courses in whatever major they like. Some people do linguistics, some people do art, some people do history, sociology, doesn't matter. Whatever you do, they tend to be easier than your typical science GPA courses. Your science major courses. So because these courses are easier, guess what? These 12 courses are easier. I have more time and energy to focus on the 8 core courses. Meaning, in the other example, when we started right here, the non-science major, because they have more time to study and focus, their science GPA is up here already. At the end of the day, if you're a non-science major and you can get a 4.0 GPA, by taking 12 courses that you enjoy, that's part of your major, that you honestly don't struggle with at all, and put all your time and energy to these 8 science courses, it doesn't matter. Someone who took 20 science courses with an average GPA of 3.6 isn't necessarily doing better than someone who only took the 8 courses needed but got a 4.0. You see what I'm saying? So the point is, if you choose a major that's non-science, you, one, could potentially have easier courses, or two, you might end up having more time to focus on the mandatory courses. Because at the end of the day, these 8 courses for medical school, there's a mandatory no matter what. So it's either I want to focus all my time on those 8 courses and not mess up, or I want to take my time with these courses and other courses. So in case I do mess up on these 8 core courses, I have the other courses in the science major program that can help supplement my GPA. So it's really a matter of finding out what you like. If I honestly could go back in time, knowing what I know now, I would most likely have chosen to be a Spanish major because I love the Spanish culture, Hispanic culture in general. I want to become fluent in life, and so I figured, and I've always been done pretty well for the most part in Spanish, so it comes easy to me. Linguistics come easy to me. So I would have done a Spanish major, learn Spanish, probably travel abroad, etc. And then those 8 courses that I needed for medical school, I would have went super hard in those courses. I would have literally focused so much time, make sure I got a 4.0. Even if some of my science courses get lower, like maybe I get a B or like a 3.4, 3.6 on that average, I would make sure those core courses were 4.0 all A's. That way I have the benefit of taking those easier courses because it's easier to me, and those courses, and I have more time to focus on the more science structured courses, right? So that's one way to think about it. But overall, I don't want to make this video too long. The point I'm trying to make is that you have to figure out this balance, like, for yourself. You have to figure out what do you feel like is best for you, and what works for someone else might not work for you. What doesn't work for you might work for someone else. So figure out what you want to do. But the point is, you have options. And at the end of the day, no matter what course you take, you should always try to score the highest, because all it means is that you have the better chance of getting accepted. The higher you score, the better chance you have of getting accepted. Well, guys, that's pretty much the bulk of the video. I hope this was helpful to somebody. Of course, like, comment, share this video to someone you think that might be interested in understanding these things, and look forward to part 2 of the series.